Okay, let's look at some 4.4a problems, finding the equation of a line. Some people think that these problems are pretty tricky. So, I think if you're not familiar with this type of math, ordered pairs, graphing, you're going to have to do some thinking about this, but I don't think it's beyond any of your abilities. You just have to kind of figure out the steps and then reinforce this by doing, as many problems as it takes to make it stick. And, really understanding it first is the key. You don't want to kind of go haphazard with this, doing it the wrong way and reinforcing it the wrong way and then realizing afterward you're doing it the wrong way. So let's try to make this stick right. It says you've got 2 points, 3 comma 2, and -1 comma -3. And it says find the equation of the line passing through the points given with the given coordinates and enter the equation in slope-intercept form in the box below. So when you see this type of problem, and actually many of the types of problems within this section, a lot of them are going to be two-part problems where the second part is always the same. The first part is going to end up being different depending upon the example. And what I see as a two-step process in this example is that we need to use these points and find slope like we did in the previous section. And then using slope, we're going to try to figure out the actual equation for the line by using the point slope formula. So that's kind of a mouthful. Just think about part one. Let's find the slope of a line going through these 2 points. Let's use the tutor mode because it shows us some nice steps. They remind you that m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and they tell you how to label those points, and then says enter the slope of the line in the box below. So on paper in front of myself here, what I'm going to do is fill into the formula, and it's going to be -3 minus 2 over -1 minus 3. So we end up with -5 over -4. Double negative gives you a +5 over 4. That's your rise over run for this line. Okay? So 5 over 4 is the slope. I know it'd be nice to be able to see this with all these little steps done out, but if you get the hang of it, you'll see kind of where that comes from. Filling in the values, calculate the slope, I entered it in. And then this is the part 2 I was talking about. It says, okay, you were asked to find the equation in slope-intercept form of the line passing through the corresponding points, corresponding to the ordered pair, 3 comma 2 and -1 comma -3. Substitute the slope 5 over 4 and the coordinates of the ordered pairs into the point slope formula of the equation of a line. And then there it is right there. Y minus y1 equals m times parentheses x minus x1 close parentheses. So what this is kind of a modified slope equation, but they actually leave one of the variables, or one of the sets of variables, x and y, to be left undefined, or I guess that's kind of a bad way to word it, not undefined, but you're not plugging anything in for those values. You're going to leave them as x and y, work the equation out, and see what you get, and that gives you an equation that works for the 2 points you started with and anything else that would be on the line connecting those 2 dots. So as a process, what they say is use this formula, and it says fill in y minus y1. Well, we originally defined y1 as being a 2. So y minus 2 equals and then the formula says m, which is slope, so we'll plug in our 5/4, times x minus x1. x1 was 3. Okay. Now you could have used the other set of points. I used 3, 2, because that's x1, y1. But you could also use -1, -3 if you wanted to. Should come out the same. And also keep in mind that anytime you have a formula that's like x minus something, if you're plugging in a minus, it becomes a double negative and ends up being a plus in the work. But I just filled all that in and click submit. Okay. And then they say, here's what you've got up here. You want it to look like y equals mx plus b. So do the workout and make it look that way. So thus the equation of the line in slope-intercept form, or y equals mx plus b form, is what? Well, up above, I've got basically y minus 2 equals 5/4 times x minus 3 in parentheses. I've got to distribute the 5/4 in, so the left side stays y take away 2, but the right side becomes 5x over 4 minus 15 over 4. So when I distribute 5/4 into -3, it's like -3 over 1. Top with top, bottom with bottom. Anytime you multiply fractions, you get -15 over 4. And the last step is going to be to add 2 to both sides. So on paper in front of myself here, I'm adding 2 to both sides. I get y by itself. And when I add 2 to the right side, I'm going to be combining it with -15 over 4. So as a common denominator of 4, 2 over 1 becomes 8 over 4, combined with -15 over 4 is a -7 over 4. So I'm going to have 5x over 4, or 5/4 x is another way to say it, 5 over 4 times x, take away 7 over 4. That's the way they want you to do this. They want you to say y equals, they want you to get the m part, which is that slope of 5/4, and then there's an x that follows that, and then there's the b value, take away fraction 7/4. And that's it.